Good evening. We are back and live. The Football Vloggers podcast is back, and tonight I have with me Luke Turton from used to be Turton Talks Football. I am muted. Am I muted? No, I'm not. I'm still here. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Right, we can hear me. And we're also here with Loudmouth Barnet FC. I've not seen Matt for a long time, so we're going to be talking about England. But before we do, let's just talk about both of you. I'll speak to Luke first. Tell me what you're doing at the moment, because you've been doing all sorts of things, haven't you? Oh, someone else has. We've got another guy coming in. Ethan's here. We'll just add Ethan in as well. Good evening, Ethan. How you doing? All right.
Are you good there? Good guys. Yeah?
Yes, we're very good. I'll introduce you in a minute, Ethan, but we're just going to go round the thing. So, Luke, tell me all about what you've been doing while you've not been on Football Vloggers podcast.
Yeah, so obviously since last time I was on, Forest have actually been promoted, stayed up for 2 years.
Yes.
I did a massive video on Turton Talks Football where I called it Awakening Giants that got about 300 views, I think.
Right.
400 views on that. Then I transitioned into doing alternative commentary for the Commentary Hub. I did that for about 2 years.
The Coventry Hub.
The Commentary Hub.
Oh, the Commentary Hub, right? Okay, I thought you said Coventry. Yeah, you're doing on the Coventry side.
and then basically now I'm just having a bit of a break before I come back next season with on my own channel with Forest content.
Okay. Next I'll move to Loudmouth BFC to Matt. All right. What have you been now? You're a football coach now or something, aren't you? Are you still doing that? Are you still football coaching, or are you not doing that anymore?
No, I'm still doing it. So obviously I've been doing football coaching for a long time, but now it's more of a semi-professional side. That's why obviously the vlogging has come to an end. Christ, 5 years ago now, weren't it? 4 or 5 years ago.
It's not that long, actually. No, it's not that long. It's a couple of years, I think. It might feel like 4 or 5 years.
Do you know what? I think you might be right, actually. I think my last one was when we had the pandemic season, when we was allowed to go to 2 games. But other than that, mate, it's just been literally trying to get myself out there because Southgate will bottle it and I'll take his chair.
Indeed, we need Loudmouth in. You do a better job. We're going to be talking about that soon. I'm sure you've got your thoughts on the match last night. So, I'll just move on to Ethan. Hello, Ethan. First time on. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're on Twitter, aren't you, I think?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but
you're going to be on Twitter because you're in the wrong aspect ratio straight away. Your phone's the wrong way around. Can you see how you're in?
Is it?
You're in like.
Don't
worry about it.
I don't know.
YouTubers are in. YouTubers are in. You know.
I think this will be
mode, and TikTokers and Instagrams are in the other aspect.
I don't go on YouTube much. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
But
so who's your team?
Sorry.
Who's your team?
Tranmere
Rovers. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tranmere, and I remember your great vlog back from 2020 during the final game.
Mickey Mellon with Mickey Mellon.
Yes.
Oh God, honestly, Tranmere came. I'll interrupt you, but Tranmere came, and they brought about 2,000, and you were kind of bottom of the league, weren't you? And you had a chance to survive, didn't you? And they came with these like drummers. Like proper like military drummers. We're not talking like just a guy banging a drum. These were like, and the noise you were doing that tequila song, wasn't it? Was it the tequila song?
Yeah.
And it was the best atmosphere I've ever heard. And we battered you basically, but you beat us, didn't you? And I was like kind of happy for you because you deserved it. For all them fans coming with all that noise, you deserved it. And then blooming COVID came and you got relegated anyway, didn't they? Relegated you. You've never got back, have you, since then?
No, we entered on a really good period of about 3 good wins, which, that's 9 points. And for the team down the bottom, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're doing well. You were about to you had a good chance to get out of it, really.
Yeah, and then we were going to play against all the sides that were around the bottom of the table, but obviously because of COVID, we never. So,
yeah, they just
annoying.
It just kind of froze the table where you were, and you had a chance to get out of it, didn't you? But that was it. They relegated you. It was sad, and you've still not got back. No, anyway, so that's the guy. So we've got Tranmere Rovers, Nottingham Forest, and we've got Barnet and a future England manager down below there with Loudmouth.
If they would never have me, mate, I'd be sacked before my arse hit that chair.
It's been more entertaining, right? So let's just talk about the match last night because that's. Are you watching France as well? I've got France on. If you're watching France, we'll be keeping you up to date on anything anything happens in France because we're watching that as well. I'll go to you first, Loudmouth. Was that the team that you would go for? Would that have been your setup? That team? Would you have done anything differently to what Southgate did?
See, now this is when my coaching hat comes on. We don't know the ins and outs of was a player unwell, etc. Wasn't they, performing in training? But if I'm literally just going to give you an answer, I wouldn't have gone with that team. We got the job done ultimately. Yeah. Was it a typical Southgate performance, or was it like you said last night? Is it the players that have kind of not performed and let him down?
Yeah,
Foden again, fantastic for his club.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to use him as a scapegoat, but he never really turns it on for England for some unknown reason. But I mean, ultimately, we was hanging on towards the end.
Yeah, we were defending so deep, weren't we? And they were just all over us, really. When it was actually stressful. And I take it we all watched it, did we? Everybody watched it. Yeah. You also watched it in the comments as well. So post in the comments. I've been listening a bit to Talk Sport today because I've been driving around delivering Every parcels, which I don't recommend to anybody out there. If you ever think of driving for Every, forget it. It's horrendous. But I've been listening to Talk Sport and they've been saying a few things. Some of them were saying, like you're saying with Foden, it's who was it that was saying it? But they were saying, like, they're always saying, can England, find a way of playing Foden? And they were saying, well, Foden should be able to find a way of playing for Phil Foden. He shouldn't need England to sort him out. He's a good enough player to influence himself on the game, but he is playing in the wrong position, and he's not playing in the position he plays for City, obviously. You've got Harry Kane, which I don't know what the hell what are we doing with Harry Kane? We just sort of nullify his threat, don't we, by playing him in this sort of, I mean, he even headed one almost off the line, didn't he, at one stage? He was back defending, and I mean, he got some free kicks in the second half, which took a bit of pressure off. But then we wasted the free kicks, didn't we? We just gave the ball away. Bellingham was amazing, but I think he just was like ran too much, didn't he? He kind of ran himself out of steam, I thought, Bellingham. He kind of was doing too much. There was that bit where they fouled him and he got back up again and he went kick bowling. Then he ran on and then they like scythed him down and he was just all over the place. So I'm not sure if we were. France nearly scored there. I don't know if we're playing them in the right positions, or what do you think?
Again, it's all well and good being typical England fans, hyper, overreact, etc.
Yeah,
and you say, I think it's weird. You look at Bellingham; he is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
And you can see that he demands the ball. He commands his players as well, and he wants it. Where Phil Foden, he's very quiet. And I think Man City's done a great job creating a fantastic player in him. But does he go hiding too much? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to use him as a scapegoat.
No.
Because this is where I'm going to
say. He's a good player, isn't he?
He's a fantastic player, but this is where I'm going to sound hypocritical, and I don't want to talk too much because I would like the other guys, obviously, to come in as well.
Right.
But
they'll get
the chance. Serbia as well. Do you think it's because, and same as Harry Kane, this might sound stupid, do you think it's because they've now left the English game and they've gone to another country where the game's probably not as intense, it's not as physical, they might have dropped off performance-wise? Do you think that may be a factor? Just throwing it out there.
Could be. What do you think? Luke, we'll go to you. What do you think about Lamal's question, and what do you think about the performance last night? Was that the team you go with?
Well, on that question, I think with Harry Kane, he came into the tournament with a back injury, and he played like it as well. Every time he got up after his foul, he was getting up like he'd got a problem in his back.
Right.
And again, he was unlucky not to score off that Bowen chance, to be fair.
God, he was. It was a great header on that.
I think on the Foden point, Foden for Man City is very good because he interchanges with the other players. He's not just stuck out on one side. I think he plays more down the centre. He can slide across both sides, can cut inside, hit shots. For England, he very much is, you're in the left side, and that's more or less it. There isn't much interchange.
No.
And we played Trent in midfield.
Yeah.
Because he could play the balls out. But he wasn't playing the balls out. He was just drifting out wide right. and basically giving us the option on the right-hand side. So we kind of
Yeah.
backed them up in the first half as a back three with two wing backs from what it looked like. And
yeah. Trent came on, didn't he, for the last 10 minutes against Iceland? Did he bring him on for the last 10 minutes? And he looked like an absolute bundle of energy, didn't he? He was like, he actually looked like he was trying to win the game, which I didn't think against Iceland anybody looked like they were trying to win the game. And I thought, wow, but he didn't really do it last night, Trent. I didn't
He was
think
great in that game against, sorry, not against Newcastle, but up in Newcastle. I think it was against Bosnia. I can't remember who was against, but yeah, with that brilliant pass across the pitch, and then
yeah, I mean, he's got it, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got it.
He has got it, but he didn't. I mean, he nearly gave a goal away, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was a disaster when it kind of bounced off he kind of shinned it and bounced off him, didn't it? And he didn't have a great game.
The thing is we've got to win. We've got the first important win, which is the good thing. Whether or not we was hanging on in the second half, but we need to obviously, and if Southgate's got anything about him as well as his coaching staff, you'd look at the key areas of where could we improve, especially on that second half going into our next game, which is against Denmark.
Yeah.
Problem is, we know that they are going to be set up in a way where they've seen, if they've watched the Iceland game, they've done their own work, same as they watched that second half. So as much as we've got fantastic individuals, I do think that we can be very vulnerable at times. And yeah, Trent playing in midfield, I don't think is the answer, but it was a one-off game. He might have a worldie in the next game, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We don't want to go too knee-jerk reaction. We don't want to go, let's complete and utterly throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to go mad. But ultimately, we need to look and see if it's not working, when do we make these key changes? Because we all know that Southgate doesn't like to make a sub-4 stop, and he makes them far too late anyway. We know that. That's where I think his coaching staff, whether they are yes men, whether or not it's Southgate going, no, I'm the one that's making the decision. Like we saw it regarding the penalties with Grealish. He said, I want to take a penalty. Southgate never bothered asking him. So it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, is he too stubborn for the role? Or is he just a yes man that no one else wanted? It's one of those, it's going to be that counter argument all the time.
It is. I mean, there's a couple of standout things. I mean, obviously Bellingham, you know, really was the difference, wasn't he? And he was the difference in the end because his goal, you know, won the game. And it was a great goal, wasn't it? A great team goal. I thought Saka was a little bit lucky. He kind of deflected, didn't he? His cross took a bit of a deflection and kind of just went perfectly to Bellingham, who made a great run, a kind of a deep run, didn't he, to come in. It was a great run in. And also, you know, Pickford didn't have very much to do, really did, but he did pull off a fantastic save, wasn't it? I mean, he tipped it over the bar. It was, and I always think he's a bit of a small keeper, you know, but he got to it, didn't he? Tipped it over.
I think half the battle is mentally as well. As you say, as a goalkeeper, if they've got nothing to do, like Ramsdale, he's openly admitted it, he can switch off during games. Yeah. If you switch off at the wrong moment, that's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're right. Even though he didn't have a lot to do, he had to be switched on for 90 minutes, no matter what.
He did. I'm just going to go through a couple of... I'll just get a couple of these comments in while we can. And then, so first of all, Jamie's Rockin' Soul is saying, evening, all very underwhelmed with the team, and his team aren't even in it. Wales. I don't know what's happened to Welsh football, but it's not very good at the moment, is it? It's not great. Joe Bottomley says, I think you're right about... Get up on the screen. I think you're right about Foden. He's good enough to impose himself on a match and go looking for both the ball and or space. Maybe he was following instructions though. So do you think maybe that was it? Why he's not? Is he under instructions not to go searching for the ball?
That's a great question, which we'll probably never know the answer to unless Luke, you can think of something, mate.
I think it's evident that if you're playing out on the left, if you've not been specifically told to interchange across as the three, which they clearly weren't during that game, because they very much was Saka out one side, Foden out the other side, Bellingham down the middle. If you're interchanging around, it creates more havoc for the defenders because they don't know who they're going to face. Whereas I think that left side definitely was a problem because we've got right-footed Trippier and then Foden just in front. It wasn't really working, and the subs that Southgate made just totally ignored the fact that if you put a player that can play on the left-hand side alongside someone who can play on the right-hand side, freshen it up when Saka went down in fitness, we might have actually got more goals, but he just persisted on just changing like for like in places where there was no fitness and just settled for the 1-0.
I'd probably drop Foden, to be honest with you, just so we have someone fast. I think.
Yeah.
Who
would you?
We've got fast players, haven't we? So we've got Palmer and Gordon.
But Palmer's more of a central player, though. He needs to play out wide and cut in.
Gordon. Then?
Yeah, he is central, isn't he, Palmer? I was a bit disappointed he didn't bring him on. Actually, I kind of wanted him to come.
I'm not a big fan of Gordon. I've said it. I think he's a modern day Francis Jeffers. I think there's far too much hype about the geezer. I'd love him to prove me wrong. I really would, but I really don't see what people see about him.
He was quick, wasn't he, against Iceland? But every cross was what I would call a Blackpool cross, where it's either too far, too short, into the goalie's hand. Everything he did, didn't he? He just his final ball was just always either overhit or even the chance he had, didn't he? He did exactly the same thing as the Iceland. Had the same ball. The Iceland guy cut inside and then just obviously hit it the other side. Kind of went inside and put it the other way. And beat the keeper. All ends up, didn't he? But Gordon goes through, cuts inside, balloons it over the bar, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Typical. It was poor, and no, I wasn't really impressed with him. I really like Cole Palmer.
He's not really done it for England, has he? So it's frustrating because you obviously play with such great talents. You want him to get the best out of him, and Southgate just hasn't been able to do that so far. And would you go Foden and Bellingham in midfield as numbers like Rice and then those two in front of him?
So you're playing one central and 2 10s?
No, I'm just asking the question.
No, that's what I'm trying to understand. If that's what you was asking, that was all. I wasn't criticising. I'm trying
so
to.
You want to bring Foden into a midfield? So you want? So what are you going for? You're going 4-4.
No, it's 4-3-3.
Well, you can do that anyway, because you can have. We started off by playing Rice and Bellingham next to each other, but then say Foden just in front anyway. That's what England played when Bellingham first came into the side. It's only when Bellingham moved up to the number 10 for Real Madrid that we started playing him in that number 10 role.
Yeah.
Because Bellingham can get up and down anyway.
Yeah, but he's a box to box, so I don't think you need a 10. Let's be honest, an attacking midfielder, it's a luxury player. Maybe that's something that could Grealish have done that.
Well, this is the thing. I just don't know why we didn't take Grealish. I still can't. Can anybody understand why we didn't take Grealish? He's the one. Yeah, go on, because he's not been fit, has he? I suppose.
But for me, when you've got players in the Premier League that were more in form than Grealish, we were criticising him every single tournament for not taking players in form. And the time we select the players that are in form in the Premier League, like, where's Grealish? Where's Rashford?
Yeah, who are not in form.
They're not consistently playing, and when they do play, they're not making much of an impact for their club side. So why should they? They get the merit of playing for the national team. Just because they do well for England.
I think we're missing a prime Sterling or a prime Rashford, to be honest. Just on that side.
It's Sterling, I think, is a one-trick pony. I think he's very predictable, and I've never been a massive fan of Rashford. I don't see the hype. I think it's just because he plays for Man U. If you was to put him in a mid-card team like Palace or someone like that, would he get the hype that he does? I don't think he's good enough personally. I think he's a glorified Danny Welbeck. I really do, gents. I mean, look, I support Barnet, okay? I don't watch Premiership football as much as most guys or what you guys do. Obviously, I look out for results.
I don't watch it much,
but I'm looking at it from an aspect of, obviously, what do you bring to a team? I personally think that we've got much better players to select from. But I do feel like, yes, Grealish hasn't been in form, but I personally think he's another one that you can take and, maybe a little bit of magic comes off. Maybe someone who will take the game at the scruff of the neck and get hold of it and drive us forward, create something. I guess we'll never know now.
We'll never know. Somebody on X, what's his name? I don't actually say his name. It's just Tandri. So the fact that England fans think they will beat the French team is mental. Do we think we can win it, or do we not think we can win this?
I think on paper we maybe have the squads.
His Wi-Fi dropped out.
His phone's gone. Just at the moment, we're going to get there. Hopefully, he'll come back.
Look, you was going to ask something before the question.
I was just going to put in this whole conundrum about who we play on the left-hand side. One player who did miss out to be selected is Eberechi Eze from Palace. His preferred side is the left-hand side, cutting in with his right foot. So maybe that could have been an option with a bit more pace, a bit more trickery than playing a Foden that's more of a central player out there.
Again, it's a great question to ask, and something only Southgate, I guess, can answer that question of why he was never selected. I mean, we're all putting all the pressure on him because he's the man in charge, but let's not forget he has got a backroom staff behind him, and if they've put in a fantastic argument to say they shouldn't, then he's not going to go with it, or he might not go against them. If he's strong enough, he will and go, no, this is my team, these are my reasons, I want them. But we need to remember that there is always a coaching staff, a management team that will always, who, especially nowadays where they have all these fantastic stats and they can see absolutely anything and everything, see why someone should be selected, why someone shouldn't be selected. Again, it's a great question, but none of us will be able to answer it.
I think I have no problem with starting with Foden, Kane and Saka. But when you can see that in a game it's not working and you don't then change it, that's
Southgate. That's Southgate all over, isn't he? He doesn't change it, does he? I mean, the subs were late again, weren't they? They didn't do much really. The subs were odd. Did you think the subs were good?
No, no. I was watching the game and I was thinking to myself, we need to change the left hand side because it's basically non-existent. We're so right-hand side coming over to that one side to get the balls in. I'm thinking, surely the change is going to be somebody that can come on and impact that side. So the first change is one midfielder for another in central midfield.
Yeah, he took Saka off, didn't he, as well? He took Saka off on the right and put that. Who did he bring on now? He brought on... He actually played quite well.
Bowen and Gallagher.
Yeah. Bowen played quite well, didn't he? I thought he had a good game. Gallagher didn't do much, to be honest. I didn't think he made any difference to it. Harry Kane, do you think... What position is he actually playing?
I mean, if your main striker at the tournament is not influencing the game and he's looking to drop deep at times like he did not in that game as much, then it goes to show... Where's the creativity coming from? If a striker's having to drop that deep, it just goes to show we don't have the control of the play, basically, and he's having to go and, again, use the phrase, get the game scruff of the neck and go and control it. But like Luke said, I didn't know he had a back injury. If he has come into this, and as you said, every time he got fouled and he got up, but as much as he's England top goal scorer, he's, absolutely smashed it in the Bundesliga regarding goals, etc. Every single footballer is going to say, I want to play. But does that come down to welfare with regards to the manager to say, all right, it's the first game of the tournament. We don't want to do too much injury. We can sit you one out, or we'll start you and bring you off, or bring you on a sub, etc. But he didn't. I'm not saying that he only needs one chance. Like Shearer said, you bring him on because he can be a game changer, of course. But you need to be smart. If he comes on, he does his back or does another injury, that's our top goal scorer at the tournament within the first game.
Yeah, which is not good, is it? It's not good. There is a question here for you, Matt. From Ian Barron. Question for Loudmouth. Why did they knock down the tin shed at Barnett's grounds? It seems strange waste of time and money. Thanks. Your opinion on that? Do you have any opinion on that? Without getting in trouble with Barnett like
yeah. The last I heard, and bear in mind, I've not been over the high for a few years now, with being threatened to be banned, and obviously coaching now, that takes up a lot of my time. They was going to build a brand new seated stadium and, believe it or not, put a hotel on there because we used to host quite a few internationals as well. Regarding why that's not completed or why that's not happened, maybe because we've then decided to launch a campaign of trying to get us back at Barnet. So now we're trying to go back to Barnet. And where we used to play at Underhill, there's a cricket pitch just behind, and we're trying to buy that or rent it whatever way to go back to Barnet. But that's an argument regarding us and the council. I'm not getting involved in that.
So did it get so bad then with Barnet that they actually threatened to ban you from the ground, did they?
Yeah. So what it come down to, because you know what I'm
You
like.
never showed match footage, did you? Did you show match footage? I can't
It
remember.
wasn't really the match footage of
It
why
was
I'm
just
banned. It
oh,
was just because I'm so controversial, and I call it how I see it, and people don't
yes.
like that. And that's what it come down to more than anything. They didn't like the fact that I might have been rattling a few cages, telling people this is my opinion. At the end of the day, we've all got an opinion, like we've all got an arsehole. Doesn't mean mine's right and yours is wrong. It's just that's what I see at the time. Like we're talking about the England game right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, we all see things a little bit different, don't we? But yeah, so are you allowed in to watch Bonnet? Do you actually go and watch them, but you don't? Well, you're not going, because you're busy with your football anyway, aren't you?
So there was.
Who's your team? What's your team called? The team that
I coach.
Yeah.
So the team I coach is called Langford, and we're in the South Spartan and Midlands Division 1, Step 6 football.
Step 6, right? Okay.
So if Barnet's Step 1, then that's how far down I am between. Barnet, basically.
Well, you're not at the bottom of the rung, are you? Does it go down to Step 9 or Step 8? I can't remember.
I think it goes down to like Step 11, and that's when you get that's when you get your county levels, which is you literally are playing over a park. But I mean, the club we've got a stadium. You've got to pay to get in. We've got proper change rooms, proper officials. So I'm making myself up the ladder, mate. Very, very slowly.
Yeah.
I'm getting up that ladder.
So if you got promotion from that league, what would you be? Who would you be sort of playing if you got one step up? If you got promoted, it's not always easy though, is it? You can actually win promotion and then not get promoted, can't you? I think there's certain rules. You got to have certain ground specifications, haven't you, and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
the season.
Yeah, you've got to have ground grading, and they will give you a certain amount of time to get that done. But you'll get a lot of funding from the FA because obviously, how do you expect a team to go up? You do get a lot of teams that will rather pump money into the club, which is pump money into the players to give them a couple of quid to win games. But then they can't go up because their ground's not up to it. Their changing rooms, etc. So then you've just done it for what reason? To have one great season where you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we win promotion. That takes us up to Step 5. So again, climbing up the football pyramids, and then we'd be into the Premiership the Prem of the Spartans. So same. I'm trying to think of the word, but so there's a Spartans, Prem, Division 1 and Division 2. And then after that, if we was to get promoted to Step 4, then that's when
you're into like the southern
stuff like that. And then that's where you'll start playing teams a little bit more northern, because the team that I'm with, we're based in Bedfordshire.
Right.
So
Jane used to be match secretary of Chase Town, which she actually goes and watches them. She started going back watching them. She enjoys watching them. She went when Blackpool were on the boycott, and we weren't going to football matches. She got a fix becoming the match secretary for Chase. It was a bit voluntary, but she loved it. You know what I mean? She's dealing with referees and and doing all the match reports and stuff like this, and player contracts. And there's so much to it. Getting these lads in and they get poached and.
Well, that's it. None of us see with my club. We don't get paid. The management team, the players, no one gets paid. There are teams, believe it or not, in our division where they're paying silly money. And they are. There's people playing for the manager in real life. Speculation. There are I mean, they've started up their own YouTube channel, and I'm giving them public here. But
is this which one's the one that's?
So these are called AFC Welling.
AFC Welling.
They've got a YouTube channel.
Right.
They are paying, and he's openly admitted how much he's paying, and he could be paying them. And this is. Bear in mind, you train
Step 6.
Yeah, but Step 6, you train for an hour on a Tuesday, an hour on a Thursday, and you have a game on a Saturday, and he's probably paying him about £200 a game. Wow. And it's like, I mean, look, if you've got the money, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to knock it.
This is getting great sponsorship or something, but flipping heck, it's a lot of money, that, isn't it? So and how many people will be in the squad on that? I suppose they only get paid if you play, though, don't they? So you potentially.
That's
15 times 200 quid. It's $3,000, isn't it? Every time.
I'm saying I'm not too sure who gets paid what, if they get paid, if they play, if they all get a weekly allowance, pocket money, etc. But basically, there's plenty of Real Bedford. I don't know if you've heard of them. They was a team called, just Bedford. Basically, Real Bedford, the geezer. He's the one who invented Bitcoin. Bitcoin or Bitcoin? I beg your pardon,
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. We should have bought
So
some of that actually.
he's now
I saw
got
that in 2014. I thought, oh, that sounds a lot of rubbish. But I
Well,
just bought some Bitcoin, geez.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's just literally had back-to-back promotions, and he's got the two brothers that who helped invest or create Facebook as an investor in his team now. So it's like the new hashtag, but hashtag have fallen now. Real Bedford will be the next team that just throw stupid money into it and just go up the league tables. But then
Real
all of them
Bedford.
do it. Dorking Wanderers, exactly the same thing. You know, he's the manager and chairman, isn't he? So
yeah.
I would do the same. If I had the money, I would do it all day long. I'll chuck in my job and I would just do football, which I love doing. But that, unfortunately, is just a pipe dream for me.
Yeah. What do you like best? The coaching side of it, the training side of it?
The winning, Lee. The winning is what I enjoy, mate. You know.
Right.
No, I'm joking. No, of course, I enjoy all of it. I like obviously coaching because you feel like you are helping players progress, getting them to understand your philosophy. Because I've always said anyone can kick a ball, right? It's how you teach the game is what it comes down to, you know. And anyone can technically teach the game, but how do you teach it to certain levels?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. All this is experience for me. I'm still learning. You never stop learning, basically. And it's all about me trying to push myself up the pyramid as well. One day I might get lucky. If not, at least I could say I gave it a go.
Yeah. What level coaching are you now? What level badges have you got?
So still only a level 2, which is my UEFA C. Cannot get onto UEFA B for love nor money. It's so difficult. I've branched out to different counties in this country. I've even applied to go over to Wales and Northern Ireland as well. Even Scotland. It's so difficult. It really is.
Why? Is it because so many people are going for it? Is that to get in to the courses?
That's just to get in. That's not even you being able to pass the course. That's just getting your foot in the door to be on the course.
Bloody hell. Wow. Well, it's if you can make it and get yourself, eventually to become a proper, football league manager, sky's the limit, isn't it? You could end up, getting poached. I was quite surprised. I've got to admit that Bayern took company from Burnley.
Yeah.
It's like it was really an odd one, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, he did okay in the Championship and he got them up and they did play well, but he didn't do very well in the Premier League with them, did he? So what is it Bayern Munich seeing him that?
There was rumours that one of company's coaches, Mike Jackson, would join him. And Mike Jackson used to be a Tranmere. He used to manage us because he was assistant manager and then manager. But when he was manager, he was absolutely terrible. So,
right.
Yeah, if that would have happened, then that would have been crazy, to be honest.
I see. I didn't know that. Ian Barron says Darlington FC. We all know we're a football league side that got ruined by George Reynolds, who built a massive stadium and a beautiful stadium, really, 25,000 seater. But it's just like a big white elephant. Still, if you ever go up that way and drive that way, it's still there. The stadium all just covered in moss and all that. I don't know, it's going to rack and ruin, but they're now a fan-owned club and they are in the 6th tier of the National League North. So that is the same tier as you then, will it? The northern thing with you, Matt, is it? That same level?
If it's step 6, then it will be. I don't know what he means by tier, because that might mean something different, I'll be honest with you. Because like I said, the easiest way to do it is if you go, so conference is step 1, which is Barnet. Step 2 is your North and South. And step 3 is obviously, that's when it starts to branch out into more county level to try and keep them closer to each other because obviously.
Travelling expenses and stuff.
Yeah, because second you go into conference North and South, that's when it can get obviously a little bit naughty. When you had Bishop Stortford get promoted into the conference North again last season or the season before, and they're having to travel, all the way up to Spennymoor might have been in the conference North at the time. Like you're going pretty much all the way up to Newcastle-ish way. So, and it's hard to attract players because a team, Biggleswade, who's just won the league to go into step 3. Because they're obviously going to be doing a lot more travelling, all their players have gone, don't really fancy that. So they're now, most of them have just, gone elsewhere to go and play local. They want to play football, but the level of ambition is like, well, where do you want to go with this? You know what I mean? You could potentially keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but some of them are so comfortable. Of course, a chance for Austria there. So some of them are so comfortable where they just probably got a nice little job, like playing football as a hobby, etc.
Oh, I'm just seeing it. Sorry, yeah, blimey.
No, yeah.
How did he not put that away? Sorry, we are watching. I don't know if you're watching it as well, guys, but we're watching France at the moment. It's Austria 0, France 0. Somebody was saying in the comments, you were just answering Ethan before we lost you, so we didn't know. Just at the right moment, where you're going to say something, you've just disappeared. So we were asking, somebody posted, do England fans think that England can beat France? And looking at them, Austria doing it's still 0-0. They're not looking any great shakes, are they, France, at the moment, I would say. And could have gone 1-0 down.
I'm not doing another YouTube video on my phone. I'll bring my laptop next time.
Yes, because you got to hold it all the time. Well, if you find it hard, you don't need to, don't struggle if you have to hold that phone all the time. But yeah, it's better if you can just sit and chat and you don't have to.
Whenever anyone's asking me a question or whenever I'm trying to talk, I'm getting phone calls. So it's just like, and then the screen. So
it's also easier if you have it on, some earbuds in as well. Well, if you're on your phone, but you're always better with some headphones on or some way of hearing it. So we don't hear the audio. If you're listening to audio on your phone, it comes back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you're listening on your speaker, that background comes back in. So yeah, so it's always good to just have earbuds on or something. AirPods, whatever. Another brand. There are other brands available. Do you think this is level 10? What does that mean? What's level 10?
I think
level 10 is like step 6. It's a little, a couple of leagues below us.
So he'll be, I don't know, 6th tier. I don't know. Sorry, Ethan, you were just trying to say then.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. So one thing I'd say is that Southgate said after the match that we've done well in using players and giving them the match minutes and all that sort of stuff, and it's obviously a tournament, so we're going to use different players different times. But Luke said before that Kane had a back injury, and then we had Loudmouth. I'm sure that's not your actual name, but he was
Matt. Matthew, isn't
he? He was saying we could have used other strikers, and I'd say that we could be, but we had good players on the bench. And so the options were there, and I just think that we should have used our subs a bit better, is what I'd like to say, because I think Watkins and Tony are good players. So give them a chance.
Yeah, I didn't rate the substitution. I've got to be. I don't know if everybody was like me. You just want to see Cole Palmer come on, don't you? Because he's been so amazing for Chelsea, hasn't he? He's such a talent, and I just get that feeling he's not gonna use him. Austria have just scored an own goal, which somebody's told us in there. Austria have scored. It was an own goal. It's 1-0 to France. Good goal, actually. Good finish. Just heads it straight in the far corner. Good cross in. Look at this cross of Mbappe, perfect. Right on his head. Look at this. He just puts it across. There we are. Beautiful. There you go. Put that in, son. Bang. In it goes. Yeah, it's a great own goal. Yeah, there was just, I don't know. Are you the same as me? Did you want to see Cole Palmer? Are you excited about him as a prospect? I thought he did very well against Iceland. He put a beautiful ball for Kane. He just like shinned it over the bar, didn't he? But the weight of the pass and everything that he put in was beautiful.
Yeah, Cole Palmer. And I think Trent struggled a bit last night, didn't he? So there's questions that we asked this week before the Denmark game, which might be the trickiest one of this group stage. But what I would say of last night's win is that it was more the same, to be honest, and it was something been costing us tournaments before, just not using the players and using the subs in the best possible way to change the game and kick on.
And sort of being too typical Southgate, where he in many ways he kind of did shut up shop a bit, didn't he? You know what I mean? He was kind of settling on the 1-0, and I just thought we were just inviting the pressure on as the game went on, and it was getting more. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I was doing a live stream and it was getting uncomfortable. It was getting, it was squeaky bum. I don't know. I wasn't enjoying it. That last flipping half an hour, they just seemed to have more men on the pitch than us, and they were just picking up every loose ball, and we couldn't get rid of it, could we? And the ball just kept pinging back at us, and
I know
we didn't let them score. You know, defensively. It was maybe maybe it was a good thing for morale that they didn't let a goal go in, and they survived being under the cosh for as long as they were, really, because I thought we were under the cosh in that second half.
But I'd say that I know that we won, which is obviously great. It's, how we want to start the tournament off, but it wasn't a game that gave me much confidence. Like, you know,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. But having said that, what did they say was we've only won one opening game in the Euros in the last 10 attempts, haven't we? Something. So that I think that was the stat, wasn't it? You know, winning the opening game. So we've actually won the opening game, which is something we don't do very often. It's something England sometimes get off to a slow start, don't they? And I think that's not a bad thing if you improve and you get better as the tournament goes on. So when you get to the final, you peak. Sorry,
I don't trust. I don't trust Southgate in improving us. So I've not got any faith in him, to be honest.
He's a nearly man, isn't he? He's a nearly man. He falls at the final hurdle, doesn't he? He can't get us over the line. I mean, in Italy, I don't know if I'll ever forgive him for Italy, to be honest. I thought we just threw that game away. We're so good, weren't we?
Game as well. I thought that we could have done a bit better in that one, because I remember watching it it was obvious from like the 40th minute onwards. I thought that Croatia would score, and he did.
Yeah, he just kind of gave up on attacking them, and we started off so well, didn't we? We got a great goal in like 3 minutes. Trippier, was it? I think it's Trippier scored. Sure. Yeah, Shaw scored the first one. Yeah, and it was just, I thought we were going to murder these. You know what I mean? We just thought we were going to murder them, and then we just kind of just stopped doing what we were doing, and the whole thing, the putting the substitutes on to miss the penalties, the whole thing was just I mean, when has anybody missed penalties against England in a penalty shootout, and we go and miss 3? Awful. Come
on, Luke, you've been quiet for a while.
Yeah, I think with this whole going 1-0 up and then not continuing doing.
Do we do? What's happened? What's that? We lost Luke.
No,
you got gremlins again.
I've always got gremlins. I'm just trying to figure out where it's coming from. So you talk again, Luke. There is it at your end where something's? I've muted.
I don't think it was me.
No, yeah, you're back. I've just muted Ethan because it's, I don't know, there's something. It's probably because Ethan keeps going off and on, so I don't know whether it's your phone or whatever. But I'll just mute you. In fact, if you mute yourself, can you do that on your phone? Can you do that, Ethan? Can you mute yourself? Yeah, mute it again. Just mute it now. It's definitely Ethan, isn't it? So just keep it muted while because we're just getting this. Yeah. Oh, he's going. I think. Yeah.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Yes, Brian. That just went worse and worse and worse, didn't it? Right. It was like, God, I don't know what. Anyway, these things happen, boys. It's because, as I say, it's just he's not a YouTuber. He's an Instagram guy.
Influencer. That's what they're called nowadays, isn't they?
He's just a fan, isn't he?
TikToker, I'm not sure. Maybe a fat fan on the show, but anyway, you've got to come on with the microphones. We all know, don't we? And headphones and all the rest. We know the drill, don't we?
Yeah, we know the drill and how much it costs, Lee.
Yes, we do know the drill and how much it costs. And it's still costing me. I've just bought a new camera. Finally, I've invested in a better camera, which is a bit more, you can see it's a bit more blurry in the background stuff. It's nice. It's an f2.8 lens as well, so it's just gives you that better blur, which I kind of want for my work. I'm a videographer, so yeah, it makes a difference too when I'm making videos for people. I was out filming for a Martin Kemp I Love the 80s night, which was in Oldham, and I went filming for that because it was so good, even in the dark. It was quite dark room. Obviously, the stage very lit up, but in the crowd it was dark. But honestly, it just in low light, it's so good. It's so clear. It's beautiful. Oh, France for chance. No. Right. So go on, Luke. Now, without being interrupted by Daleks.
Yeah. So the problem you have when you go 1-0 up, especially early on, is you can slowly retreat back, thinking that you've got it won.
Unless you're Germany, it just went on and scored bloody 5.
But that's a mentality thing from, I think, the tactics.
Yeah, from Southgate.
I also think part of it yesterday was down to the fitness of certain players and how many games they've played in a short space of time. Like, I mean, Bellingham had the Champions League, and he didn't play the friendlies, but some have consistently been playing. And then if someone just come back, like Stones got injured in the friendlies, and then played. Mark Guahi just came back from an injury about, I think, 2-3 months ago.
Yeah,
we've got.
I thought he played well, by the way, Gay. I thought he had a good game. I thought he. What was he at one time? He was 100% pass conversion, wasn't he? 100% he was. I think at half time. I don't know what his final stat was on his pass conversion, but he was at half time. He was 100% because they mentioned it at half time. 100% pass completion. That's that's pretty good.
One thing that I will say on that, Luke, forgive me for jumping in, and you will notice this. Me and Lee will confirm it as well. The likes of Bellingham, because he's young, he can play. The older you get, the longer it takes you to recover. Trust me. So the likes of Harry Kane, who's now 30 or whatever,
it's
even though he's physically fit at the top of his game, he's got the best nutrition people around him. His body can only recover as well as his body will allow him to recover. Doesn't matter how many vitamin pills he wants to take. You know, you got a young 18, 19, 20-year-old run all day long. When you get to 30, you've got to be smarter. You know, that's why Ronaldo changed his game from a winger to an inside forward to a striker, because he had to. He's a different specimen, but as you get older, you've got to adapt.
Yeah, you can't. Youth, you can't, you can't compete with youth, and it happens in every sport. There's the odd anomaly in the like Federer tennis. Ian Barron says it's the Tannoy system at Bluefield Road. Actually, you won't know the joke, but yeah, it is. It's a bit like that. It's a bit like Norman Collier, you know what I mean? or Tannoy system where it just keeps, cutting out all the time. Gillingham, see that who's farted is the thing. Was it just? I suppose it could be thought of as a sort of a farting sound, but it's just when you haven't got the right techers, isn't it? You need the right techers. Clyde Wotton says Southgate on his favourites and won't change yesterday was crying out for Grealish and Palmer, yet he keeps Luke Shaw, who's injured. Yeah, I mean, he's taken Luke Shaw, but for what reason, really? He's still obviously clearly not fit, is he?
Was it the last tournament? Forgive me, or someone remind me. Again, this is another thing that comes of age, Luke, right? Your memory don't go, it's not Was it Harry Kane that missed the first 2 games due to injury and then was there for the last game, or was that someone else? Why is that just coming to my head? That rings a bell. Because we was all like, why? Yeah, it was. I think it might have been Harry Kane. It was definitely someone.
Harry Kane.
Because we was all saying, why have you taken him? Like, we could be out by then. Don't, pick someone who's fitter.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And he came in.
Yeah, so it's like, so you've taken Luke Shaw, who's openly criticised the Man United physios, the sports therapists, whatever, whatever they want to be called nowadays, and you've taken an injured player. You're telling me that there's no other left back in this country or English who can play for England that you didn't feel comfortable taking because you're playing a right back at left back. Because we can all say, look, they're professional footballers at the top level, they can play wherever they want. Yeah, you're right. But when you come up against someone who's just as good or better playing in their natural position, it's all right. Trippier's right-footed. Yeah. Can he move? Can he think quick enough to move his feet quick enough to turn his body shape? Go, shit, it's coming on my left. I've got to tranship to my right. Because let's be honest, it doesn't matter how great you are. You're dominant foot. The other one's just for standing on 9 times out of 10, no matter what level you play at.
Yeah, there's not many players who are, completely, left or right, either way. It takes a lot of practice as well to get, to have that sort of ambidextrous, is it?
Ambidextrous, yeah.
Still counts as ambidextrous for feet, does it, as well as hand? Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's both, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and also they were saying on Talk Sport that with Foden, if Luke Shaw was playing, he'd have moments where Luke Shaw was overlapping him down the left, so he could interchange with Luke Shaw in a left-footed way. So Luke Shaw would, pass inside and he would overlap him, and then he would be able to receive the ball down the left on his left. Whereas Trippier, he's always wanting to come inside. He's always wanting to bring the ball in onto his right. So he's kind of negating Foden being there, isn't it? Because he's cutting inside all the time. He's not going on the outside of Foden. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Foden's not having a good game, because he's playing with a right back, a right-footed left back. Well, which is, again, it's putting square pegs in round holes, isn't it?
Well, that's part of the problem. If you're playing a right-footed player on the left in your wide position, and then as your fullback, so you've got two right-footers on the left as well as on the right.
Yeah,
you're not effective. You've got one left-footed player on that side.
Who's the other left fullback? We've taken somebody else, haven't we?
No, we
haven't got any. I thought there was one player.
The big problem that we have in our squad, or England in general, is Southgate literally keeps picking either Luke Shaw or Luke Shaw and Chilwell, and that's it. They're the only two people that are known to Gareth Southgate that can play left back.
So who would you have taken then? Obviously, rather than taking Luke Shaw, but he might come fit, like you say, like Kane didn't come in for the third game. Maybe they thought they didn't need Shaw for this game. Maybe they thought it was too easy. Would you think? Maybe thinking this was an easy tie and probably an easy win. They didn't to push the boat out too much, and they could save Luke Shaw for the later rounds, maybe. Or
I've got no problem with him selecting Luke Shaw, but you've got to select two players that can play on the left-hand side, so you can at least play a left-footed player at fullback. Now, my option would have probably been Tyreek Mitchell from Crystal Palace. He's young, he's pacey, he's played for England before, under Southgate, by the way, but he seems to forget about that now, because frequently it's been Ben Chilwell or Kieran Trippier that's played there when Shaw's not been fit.
Right.
I think part of the selection was tournament experience, especially when you've lost Henderson. You're not playing Maguire because he's injured. You've picked players that have been at a major tournament before with the younger players. I think that plays some part in it, but also I think there's a bit of just Southgate knowing who he's going to pick in certain positions, even if they're not fully fit, which is why you get periods of the game where you kind of fade out because your main players aren't fit enough, and he's not bold enough to throw players in that haven't played consistently for England because he's not allowed them to.
I think you might be right with the whole experience more than anything, to be honest with you, because let's be honest, even though I've said it, you've said it, Philipp Lahm, right-footed, played left back pretty much his whole entire career for Bayern Munich and Germany. So we know it can be done. Okay, Dennis Irwin, Man United and Ireland. Okay, it can be done. It not necessarily is going to be the perfect fit, but as you say, is it square pegs in round holes? Ian Robin played on the right-hand side. Dangerous because he would dribble, then he'd cut in on his left-hand side. It was predictable, but no one could stop it.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to more experience, as you say, whether it's tournament experience, whether it's club experience, than it is probably the whole what is his dominant foot, because it is again a strange one that we can debate. Everyone who's got half a brain cell can debate it. Only Southgate knows. And the comment says, or one of the comments was, Southgate would pick his favourites. Every manager's got their favourites. That's fact. And yeah, he has. The good thing was, I thought he was going to take Henderson. He didn't take Henderson. I thought he was going to take Maguire, but maybe he is starting to grow up, or that might be a little bit disrespectful, but maybe try and mature, because he's done it his way for so long, and it hasn't worked. maybe he's
It's
starting to
worked
listen.
to a fashion, hasn't it? I mean, I think he's now our most successful England manager of all time, isn't it? I think his record is the most successful.
All
But yet,
time.
I think he is.
What about fucking Sir Alf?
Alf, yeah, well, yeah, no, I think he's won more games than Sir Alf. But
He ain't
obviously
won more silverware than him, though, has he?
No, he hasn't. I'm not saying he's
I mean,
more
if you want to go down
successful.
that statistic,
No, he's
Sam
not more
Allardyce is the
successful than
greatest
Sir
manager
Alf
ever.
Ramsey, but he's won more games than any other manager. He's definitely got his wins are the highest now as an England manager, I'm sure.
I'm
But
not having
he
it. Sam
doesn't win.
Allardyce. 1 game, 1 win, mate. 100% record. You ain't beating that. I know what you're trying to say. I know what you mean. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Yeah.
You can't really. We can criticize as much as possible. We got to the final last time round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We should have won it.
Yeah, that's in the past. The fact that they can turn around and say we're favourites for this tournament,
I can't leave it in the past. I can't leave it in the past, Matty. We should have won it. Honestly, I still have sleepless nights about it. Even now, I still can't believe that what he did. I can't believe he didn't win that game against Italy.
Yeah,
and then they didn't even qualify, did they? Then for the world, they failed to qualify, didn't they? For the next thing, they were so bad. Honestly, they were an aging Italian side, but that foul, do you know, in extra time.
Saka.
Yeah, for God's sake. I mean,
that was it then, weren't it?
It was ridiculous. Again, a bad referee decision. It's terrible.
But Lee, yeah. You're looking at the wrong problem. It wasn't putting the players on to take the penalties that was the problem, because those players should be able to take penalties. That's not the problem. The problem is we scored so early and then didn't continue to go on to score. We thought we'd sit there against Italy.
It should have never gone to penalties. We should have beaten.
If we can attack Italy in the first 3 minutes and score, then we should be able to keep doing it. Why did we then go and sit back for like 120 minutes and expect that we were going to get to win the thing? No, if you don't dominate for more than 3 minutes of a football match, you're probably not going to win it. Just saying.
The same thing happened, really, to be honest, when Blackpool played Lincoln in the playoff final, to the last time we got promoted at Wembley. And they scored in about 3 minutes, but it was 3 minutes, about 3 minutes, but it was an own goal. But that kind of, then they did the same thing. They just sat back and they did hit the crossbar, and if that had gone in, that would have probably been curtains. But they just let Blackpool get back in the game, and we dominated then and we beat them 2-1. But it is a problem if you have got to be more adventurous and carry on doing what was successful instead of giving it all up. And
let's play devil's advocate. Let's reverse the roles. Italy have just gone 1-0 up within 3 minutes against us. Now, Mancini was the one that said, in Italy, if you're 2-0 up, you can see a 2-0 game out. In England, if you're 2-0 up, anything can happen. So Italy have just gone 1-0 up. They would have actually sat back because the Italians love to defend. That's what they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Would we have had enough about us to break them down for, let me get my maths correct, 86, 87 minutes?
Yeah.
Would we have had enough to break them down? That's the ultimate question. We'll never know. If my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. Italy were 1-0 down in the tournament. They turned it around in 1-2-1. And that's the problem, as Luke says. We probably went 1-0 up too soon, and the Italians are going to be like, right, well, we need to win. We need to make sure that we turn this around. They got it back to level. Once basically an Italian side or Italy are in front, that's when they'll sit back, and they did in their game when they as soon as they went 2-1 up, they basically shut up shop and just passed it around because they don't need to chase the game. They're pretty much winning. So it's like, well, we don't need to make any mistakes or any rash decisions. So come and attack us, and that's what happens, and that's the problem. So you got to look at it like that. If they went 1-0 up, would we have had enough to turn it around? The problem is we've done the Italian job where we literally just sat off them and sat back, trying to coast throughout that game.
And it didn't work. We just invited it.
And we weren't good at doing the Italian way of doing it, because the Italians have been doing it for years and years and years. We're the players that have been doing it for years and years and years. Yet we haven't been doing it and can't do it as well. Yet what we were doing well, we stopped doing. And that's inevitably why it ended up how it ended up, because what we started off doing and managed to find a hole in the back where Luke Shaw got in and scored, we then stopped doing that. The one thing that was working and passing it around quickly because we got that goal. If you stop doing what you're doing and going to a different game plan because you think, okay, we're going to try and see this out now because we've got the goal. Well, invariably, it's only 1-0. Like,
would you say, Luke, because obviously Forest are in the Premier League, so you're watching a lot of Premier League football with Forest. Would you say that the way that England play is any kind of reflection of how we play football in the Premier League? Do we play football like the way England are playing, or would you say it's more attacking, more adventurous? I know City I watched City and I thought it was really. I only watched one City game. It was against Brighton, and it was just so boring. I mean, I couldn't believe it. What was it, 4-0 in the end? And honestly, there was times where the City players were just like stood with the ball, just stood, not even moving. Brighton player, I'm thinking, God, is this? I don't know if that's a fair reflection of the Premier League, but I was like, God, this is so bad.
The Premier League is played at very high intensity a lot of the time. Like, there are games where Man City will pass you to death, or Brighton will attempt to pass you to death when it's under De Zerbi. I don't think that it's a fair reflection because you've got a lot of different styles and a lot of different managers playing within the Premier League. I mean, it's definitely not a fair reflection how Forest played. I mean, we had one of the worst defenses last year again. So, and our goalkeeper for the first half of the season just thought it'd be a good idea to just gift out goals like confetti. So, I mean, I don't think it's really a reflection of kind of what happened in the Premier League. I think it's more a reflection on probably how Southgate thinks football should be played and how he views it.
Oh, look, I've got to laugh because, again, I'm going back to it. Me and Lee are old enough to remember him playing football, and I can guarantee you now, he wasn't very fucking good at playing football.
No, he wasn't the greatest, was he?
He wasn't any good. He really wasn't a good centre half at all. He was, and I've always said this. He's
but great footballers don't always make great managers, though.
Yeah,
Matt, do they? They don't. It's not a guarantee. I mean, how many great footballers have made great managers?
No, but what I'm trying to say is I think he's transitioned his football playing into his management style as well.
Yeah, into that style.
So defender into defensive play.
Or is it just what, as Willow says, is that what it is? Have we actually cursed ourselves with the football's coming home song and we'll never win anything? We need to stop singing that song. Is that can that curse us? Is that possible? Can a song curse you? It winds up the Europeans, doesn't it? For sure.
Well,
they don't want footballs to come home, do they? They hate it.
The first time anybody says it, yes, it's cursed it. For one tournament, nobody should say it and then see what happens.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying
You're not going to get no one saying it. It's a fucking amazing song. Euro 96 was my favourite tournament. I was 10 years old. I loved every second of that, apart from when we lost on penalty.
Yeah, to Germany. Yeah, it was amazing. Funnily enough, I was listening to Talk Sport this afternoon, and the girl who interviewed the Scottish manager for Talk Sport, I don't know if you've seen the clip, but she says to him, all these England fans and everybody singing at you, Scotland get battered everywhere they go. Is that this is the question she asked. She asked the Scottish manager, do you want to do something that kind of like shuts that up kind of thing? And they interviewed her, they had her on the thing after. She said it sounded right in her head when she kind of thought of saying it, but maybe she shouldn't have said it. But yeah, she said, is the fact that, the England fans keep singing to you, Scotland get battered everywhere they go, do you just want to like shut them up and prove them wrong?
I think that's very poor from that journalist. I mean, why would you ask a question like that? How do you expect a manager?
I don't know. Why would you?
I'm Scottish, but I love the song. Yeah, let them carry on singing. What's he want to turn around and say? Yeah, fuck the English.
No, it was a terrible thing. I couldn't believe she came out with it. It was on the road. I was like, did she just say to the Scottish manager, England fans are singing Scotland get bad everywhere they go? I mean, it's just bloody war off a duck. Wait a minute. it's of no consequence, is it? Or you should be above that, shouldn't you? If you're a national team manager, it shouldn't even figure in your thinking. But anyway, it was quite funny. It did make me laugh, especially when she said that she was. It sounded better in her head than when she said it.
Well, yeah.
She asked him actually after, apparently. She said, did I go a bit too far? And he said, well, I wasn't expecting it from a Scottish. I wasn't expecting that question from a Scottish interviewer. Maybe from an English one, but not from a Scottish.
Never mind, eh? But just go back to what you're saying, Luke. I don't necessarily think it's
M people. What do you think about M people? M people?
They were a band, weren't they?
Yeah, but there was nothing to do with Three Lions or M people. It was the Lightning Seeds, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
M people from, what were we thinking of? Yeah, yeah. It's Badil and Skinner and the Lightning Seeds, not the M people. I'm sure. Do the M people have a football song? Or has he just lost the plot there, do you think?
I don't know, mate. If they did, I don't think they've
he's
done one.
He's down with the kids, I think, and he's just M people. One Night in Heaven. We don't play that.
What have you done today to make you feel proud?
Will says Gareth Southgate was an awful player. Is misreflected on Harry Kane. Did we say that?
I don't know.
Yes, again, it was. It was the same, wasn't it? Again, going back to the World Cup against Croatia, that was another very disappointing night, wasn't it? Where we took the lead, and then he didn't change anything, did he? I was watching it with my youngest at the time, and I was saying, and he was so desperate for England to win. He was about 14. Yeah, it was a really traumatic night as a dad, because he was so upset. And I just kept saying, he's got to change something because they've changed. They moved Modric, didn't they, to a different role, and we didn't. We just carried on playing the same way, and you could see they were going to score, couldn't you? And when they scored, you could see they get another, and he just didn't make any sort of tactical change to combat what they'd done with Modric, and it cost us, didn't it? And I could see how I'm even traumatized by that. Bloody Southgate.
See, this is again. This is it's a case of, is it English managers? Because we always say we don't always say, but we've always had fantastic footballers. Like we had the golden generation under Sven, but we didn't get there. And you look at it and you go, I remember Gary Neville saying in one of his podcasts, he said when he was at Valencia, he was playing against someone and he said the manager changed formation tactics halfway through the game. And he went, I'm miles away from that. I'm levels away from that. So I'm just trying to say, well, maybe it's the English way, but it's not, though, because we've had foreign managers. We've had Sven and didn't get anywhere. We've had
hello.
Hello. Didn't get anywhere.
Never really talked any English. We could really understand what he was going on about. He was a he never learned English, did he? He's like, oh God, was he the most painful manager for post-match interviews ever? That he could only say about 4 words, and he just, oh God, he was painful.
But again, on paper, great manager.
Yeah, he was, but he just didn't do it, did he? I don't know. I don't think the players respond. Sven-Göran Eriksson was 8, wasn't he? And I mean, Terry Venables, that was the best England we ever played, I thought, against. Although having said that, the Euros last time, up until the final, England were really, really good. Was it the quarterfinal where we won 4? No, we beat the Germans, obviously, which was amazing, wasn't it? The whole country's thinking around, we got the Germans out of it. And then who did we beat in the next one where we won about 4-0? Was it 4? We smashed them in the semi-final, was it the quarterfinal?
Was it Ukraine?
Might have been Ukraine, I can't remember. But we were playing so... Yeah, the one in England, the one we got to the final in.
Yeah, we battered Ukraine. I think that was 4-0, but that wasn't played in England though. That was played abroad. I think that was in Italy.
Oh, it was, yeah. But I'm saying it was the last Euros. I know.
Yeah.
It was played in different places, but in that tournament, I thought England played some of their best football up until the final. I honestly thought we were going to win.
But we did also have that 0-0 draw with Scotland.
Yeah, we did. But that's what I mean. At the start, we didn't start well, but we were really, really, really France here on the attack.
That's kind of my point. We didn't start well, but we got a 1-0 where we played it. It was 6. for 60 minutes this time. Let's see what happens this time, then.
Oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how you start. Say you finish. Portugal
Yeah.
lost their opening
Yeah.
game when they went on to win it. You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you've got to finish well. And I thought once we knocked the Germans out, and that was the big game for me. You know, we played Germany. I thought this is the one. If we can win this, it's ours. You know, that was my mentality at that time. I thought, knock the Germans out. We're gonna win this. You know, because I didn't think Italy were that good, full of old, aging players. You know. Anyway, go on. I can keep going on about history, but I keep going. I'll rant on and on all night if I start, because honestly, I had to cut the end of my live stream off. I've cut it off because I was so angry. People saying I was frightening children. I was that angry. I really was. God, I was honestly. I'd lost it. I had absolutely lost it.
I learned a long time ago, Lee, not to get pissed off, frustrated, or annoyed with England anymore. I used to.
Yeah,
I used to, but now I don't, because
I just want to see it one time.
They would always let you down, mate.
I say it all the time, right? We have friends who are Italian, yeah. And they lived in England, and then they got married and they went back to Italy. And my eldest boy was a little ring carrier when they got married. And when Italy won the World Cup, in what year was it when they won the World Cup? The last one, I can't remember what year it was. Anyway, we rang them up. And you know, the guy's called Alex, rang him up to congratulate them on Italy winning the World Cup just right after the match. You know, we're ringing Italy, and I'm on the phone to him, and he's missed. Alex couldn't hear what we were saying on the phone because of the noise outside in the streets of Italy. It was just so loud. And I just think just once in my life, you know, just once in my life, I want to see this country go mental because we win a tournament. You know what I mean? Just please, God, I want to see what it's like. And it's always just, you know, you're always gutted. And I want that so bad, but can we do it? Can we do it?
I think it depends, obviously, who we have in charge, because yes, with the players, yeah, we can. We definitely can do it, but there's like a mental block there, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if Southgate's too scared to open up the gates. Like you say, going back to what we said about Foden, is he playing to a game plan? So we can criticise him and say he's not good enough, but if he's literally doing what the governor's told him to do, then he's doing his job at the end of the day, you know. But ultimately, you're going to look at it. The biggest stage, bar the World Cup, in the biggest stage in the world, or regarding Europe, the whole nation's watching, and everyone's saying that he's not having a great game. But if one man is, at the end of the day, that player's going to listen to the guy who's picking him. They're going to listen to us.
Too true. Too true. Right. Anything? Any other thoughts on it? I mean, they're saying this is the most. What they're saying, this is the most talented squad we've ever had. They are saying that, aren't they? This is the most talented squad ever. Did you think that was the most talented team? Do you think that was the right team with what we've got?
Up there with the golden era, you know, when you had golden balls playing with Hargreaves, Gerrard, Lampard. I think our defence was better back then than it is now. But you look at the attack we've got now compared to then.
Yeah, the attacks probably is our best attack, isn't it? Even though it wasn't really.
The game's changed. It's a much different formation. The game's a lot faster now it is than back then. Back then, we probably played a 4-4-2 or the diamond. Now you're playing a 4-3-3, introvert, pivot, all them magic words that most people don't understand, but someone just says it to make them sound intelligent. It's the truth of the matter, isn't it? Let's be honest. Come on. And this is why I upset people, because I just call it how I see it, you know. And those fat cats in the FA don't have a clue anymore. They're old and past it, but they want to admit it. Ultimately, it is a good squad we have. We could do some real damage with it. I think it just comes down to a mental block, and it sometimes leads from the leader, but also his coaching team around him.
I need to do. I've done something there. Those you shouldn't be covered by those. Why? I've done something to it where that we should all move up when that comment comes up. So I'm not covering over your face, but Mountain King UK said individually we've got great players, just not so much when they play together. Do you think is that right?
Oh, don't even get him involved, Lee. Fucking Door. Get rid of him. Door out.
What is he here?
Oh, he's in the comments.
Oh, he can come in. Has he not got the? Have I not sent him the link?
No, because you've done the right thing. Because he's a crap YouTuber. You just see it. Sorry, I've gone off the comments because I was trying to figure out why.
I think with that comment around them playing together,
yes,
I think it all depends on what the tactics are that the team's being asked to play, because they're all really good, intelligent players. But if you're asking them to do something that's not their natural game, they're not going to look as good as they do for their clubs, where they're playing a specific way. And all these players play with different players in their club teams. They are going to look slightly different.
Yeah, of course. And would you say that some of them are playing with better players around them than what's in the England team? You know, certainly at City, they've got some of the greatest players in the world, haven't they? So does that make Foden look a better player than he actually is because he's in a team?
But also though, those teams like Man City, they've looked at the squad they've got and they've gone, well, this set of tactics will work for the players that we have. It's not Pep's come in with this idea, and every player that's in the Man City team has been scouted to fit that system. We've just gone and got a load of players into a squad, and now we're going, right, do these fit in a way that is effective to play in those positions they'll put out? Arguably, no, because I don't think that Trent can play in central midfield for England like he can for Liverpool. I don't think that Foden can play out wide for England like he can for Man City.
Because he's got a proper left back behind him. He's got a proper left back at City. Who plays left back at City?
Well, actually, no, because the centre back plays at left back for Man City because they played Guardiola there. That played for Croatia. But my point is, where is the best position for the likes of Alexander-Arnold, Foden, within this England squad? And what tactics are you giving the other players to allow these other players to work?
If you was to put Trent at right back or right wing back or whatever, get that comment down now. Same as you put Foden either through the middle or the 10 or whatever. Now, Gary Neville said this isn't when he said about Foden. He said this isn't England throwing Scholes out on the left and hoping he could do something. Foden can play on the left, so he knows how to play the role. So he might not have the same players around him at Man City, but he knows how to play the role. It's just, it's just like at the moment we're doing trials with my team. Okay, so we'll just do a basic 4-4-2. Everyone knows how to play a 4-4-2.
Sure,
it's basic. Everyone grew up with 4-4-2. You don't want to overcomplicate it with a trialist and start going. Yeah, like I said, you don't want to start doing a pivot. A ring. A wrap around and all this. It's just go out there and do what you can do and show us what you can do. And at the moment, Foden isn't showing it, but he's not the only one that isn't showing it. Trent playing midfield. Declan Rice, is he wiping his mouth for most of the game? It might be pulling someone else away from their strengths because of us having to compensate for others. Yeah.
I've sorted. Sorry, I'm just sorted out now. You popped up now. It's not going over your face.
No, it's all good. I was just reading that comment. So you want to put Bellingham out wide when he's a box to box, straight down the middle?
Really?
But
why would you do that, Granty? We don't know. Why would that be the solution? Explain.
With a Foden thing, yes, he's played there, but whilst he's been playing there for Man City, it's been with other players that have allowed him to play there. Is he now in a position where he can do the same things out on that left, which is drift around. He plays left and into the centre. He doesn't really play directly, just you stay out left. And that's the issue. It's so rigid. They're not alternating across because we've got energy across that three just behind Kane. There's energy there. So you can sometimes have Saka popping out on the left, Foden popping out on the right, that sort of thing. But that doesn't happen.
I kind of like that when a manager does let players have a bit more freedom. I don't.
But it's not happening because it seems to be that they have to be in the same area, and that's the problem.
Grant T says, in answering what we asked him, Foden is more comfortable centrally. Bellingham can just score whomever he faces. Bellingham can just scare whoever he faces. But Willow says, very controversially, what do we think of this? He says, quite England aren't a good team, and we need to wake up to the fact we can't win unless we put a competent person in charge that wasn't an awful player and who isn't a pundit because they don't know their game. What do you think to that, guys? Can we answer Willow on that? I'm not sure. I think England are a good team. I think we are a good team, and we're actually one of the favourites to win this. So we are a good team. Whether our manager gets the best out of the team and plays in a way that we would want them to play, I don't know.
I don't think it's the fact that we're not a good team. I just think that we are failing in the crucial periods where decisions need to be made as a kind of coaching group. Like Southgate and his coaches, they're not fast thinking enough. And like Matt was saying, they're not looking at what's being done during the game and going, well, they've changed that, so how do we counteract that whilst the game's going on?
Yeah, he's kind of, yeah, he's I wouldn't even say he's reactionary, really. He has this, I don't know, he has this thing where he's forever cautious, isn't he, Southgate? He plays with caution.
Sometimes you don't need to, though. Let's be honest. Just because they've made a change doesn't mean you have to make a change, because then you're just going to change and overcomplicate, and it could disrupt it.
Yeah.
You stick ultimately to your game plan and what you set out, your goals, etc., before you start the game half time. But let's be honest, like we said, nowadays they have all the modern technology where they have a debrief and they'll sit down and they'll watch the game. They'll have people analyze the shit out of it. Yeah. And start and say, look at the run, blah, 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 this and the other. They'll tell you how many miles they've ran, how many interceptions, etc., and all that lot nowadays, okay?
Yeah.
But whether or not that interests a footballer is a different matter, because a footballer will be like, oh, this is boring to me, I just want to play football. And like I said, just because you can kick a ball doesn't mean you can teach the game. That is the ultimate argument. But it's just a case of, as Luke's saying, if they have made a change, you need to clock on that they've made the change, make everyone aware that they've made the change, and just monitor it to know when to counterattack that ultimate change or whatever.
Yeah, whether that's causing too much trouble, isn't it?
Exactly.
If the change is affecting the game, and it really did affect the game last night. They did something, or they changed. I mean, I thought they probably had, the hairdryer treatment at half time, and they came out a different side, didn't they, Serbia? And they really did keep hold of the ball really, really well. Where I was quite surprised at how well they managed to keep hold of the ball, and they kept us really pressed in, but we didn't seem to do anything that got us out of that malaise that we were in, really, where we were just going deeper and deeper and deeper. I just thought we were getting more and more under pressure, even though we did withstand everything in the second half. They threw at us, didn't we, really? They didn't have, for all the possession they had, they didn't have a lot of like clear-cut chances, did they? We did limit them.
I don't think I was ever in any worry that shit they're going to score here. They might have had a lot of possession at times, but as you say, did they hurt us?
Not really.
How many times did they get in behind us? How many times did they punish us? And that's all in factors is what I'm trying to make. I mean, we can talk about us and say we're not a great team, whatever, or we've had the goal. I think there's one other club, even though it's nothing to do with us, but I think that they have failed a lot more than we have, even though we got to the final in the last tournament, is Belgium, and they lost today.
Yeah. It can happen. It can happen.
Exactly, it can happen. It just doesn't matter who's in charge.
It's tournament football, so it's
Exactly that. You know, like
it's
Holland,
tough
how many
on 'em.
times did they have it? They would always argue with themselves because they have so many egos. And as
Yeah.
fantastic of a player he was and a manager, Cruyff was one of the most toxic people to be around because he thought he was the big I am.
Hmm.
And that's what it comes down to, egos.
Indeed, I don't think we've got any of that. I don't feel that England have got that sort of problem with the egos. I don't think. Why are France so dominant? Why are France being so dominant? What do they do that we don't do? I mean, they just have better players. I mean, Mbappe. Would you swap Mbappe for Bellingham? Who would you say is the better player at the moment, Bellingham or Mbappe? I mean, he is quality, Bellingham. I've got to say, he is really is gifted.
Different positions.
I know, but
I'm
you
not
know,
sure I'm not
who
sure I
would you
can
have?
answer. I'm not sure I can answer that direct question, but what the France doing question is they've looked at the players they've selected and they've gone, what works for this set of players in the way that we approach this tournament.
Right.
I also think part of our problem is if you've got an unfit Harry Kane up front, then you're not going to be able to play like balls in behind, splitting defenders or getting the ball over the top. And especially then if you also don't have a left side that's working, you've got no out ball. When the ball's in the midfield or at the back, there's only one way you're gonna go, and that's to the right hand side and try and get it forward that way. And
So how do we solve this left-hand side then, Luke? With the players we've got, how would you set it up to make sure this left-hand side isn't the weak link? I mean, obviously,
John Barnes.
obviously, play Shaw if Shaw is fit. I mean, I think that's a given, isn't it? If Shaw can get back in.
Or if he's not fit enough for the next game,
who's our left winger if we don't play? Foden?
Play Everett Eze out there. Play Eze out there.
Eze, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, he's right-footed, but he's quick. He's got skills, and he plays left side for Palace. So,
yeah, it's comfortable.
Get him out there.
I think it's a big call saying play him out there when literally half hour ago we were talking about tournament experience. What tournament experience has he got coming into this?
But you've got other players that's got that tournament experience. You've got, say, Stones. You've got Trippier. You've got Walker. You've got Declan Rice. If you're still playing Harry Kane, you've got Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka. You've got loads of players out there with tournament experience. You can play one without it.
So then are you relying on carrying a player if he has such a bad game? That's the problem.
You carried Phil Foden for the whole of that game because he wasn't doing anything.
But the difference is Phil Foden has won how many Premier Leagues? Has won how many cups?
But what did he do in that game?
Not Phil Foden. Well, he has, but I mean, not just Phil Foden on his own. He plays for Man City with some of the greatest
what I'm saying, but he is a regular starter at 90 minutes each game, though. And we're talking about experience. We're talking about
the experience.
And
you've already said you don't fancy Gordon. Yeah.
How do these other players get the tournament experience if you're not going to start them in tournaments?
I know they've got to get it.
Yeah, you have that point, but ultimately, I think we've watched one game. There's a couple of knee-jerk reactions, not here. I'm on about everyone over the scope, and people are now all of a sudden just throwing names out like it's a panic attack sort of thing. It's just like it wasn't a great game, but we've won the game. I'm not sitting on the fence here. I'm not Southgate in. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even Southgate out just because I don't know who would come in and replace him. I just want to see England be successful in my lifetime. And it'll be a shame knowing that we could just go, oh, look at the team we had, and what you got to show for it? Well, nothing. It doesn't hurt, I guess, to give them a chance, but you can't do it in one game because someone can have a fantastic game. Everyone will rave about him. The media will, and then he will have an absolute terrible one the next game, and everyone will ridicule him. And that's the problem. That's what we do in this country. Football fans are the most fickle in the world.
What's this? What's this from Gillingham FC? Can anybody decipher that? England record when
Yeah,
year
it's
for
saying when the year ends in the number
Oh, in a
4.
74, 84, 94, 04, 14. So 24, obviously the next one. So what's DQ?
Didn't qualify. Didn't
Oh, didn't
qualify.
qualify, didn't qualify.
Final goals group stage.
Or group stages. So it
Is he a secret Spurs fan?
So basically, so basically, we're saying that because it's 2024, it's a cursed. It's not a good. Well, it doesn't matter. Does it? You could say to any year. When have we ever done anything in any bloody year? Any combination of any figure? There's only one time when it was a 6. Well, have we done it ever since the 6? Since then, we won a World Cup in 1966.
So that means we're going to win the next World Cup, then, yeah.
In 2026, but we didn't win it in. We didn't win.
We didn't win Euros in '96, so did we?
We didn't. No, we didn't. But we've been unlucky though in a lot of tournaments. Some,
I just want to
bloody hand of God goals and bloody Des Walker's disallowed brilliant header and blooming Michael Owen's balls 2 yards over the line that some linesman couldn't see it was over the line. It's just the stuff that goes on for the bad luck we have. And I watched there was a program on TV, and I remember it was showing all the things that England should have won. If things hadn't have happened, and there was so many bad decisions went against us over the years.
It's a conspiracy, Lee. No one likes us.
Yeah, I mean, going back to just the last World Cup with France. You know what I mean? In that semi-final, I mean, there was a clear penalty, wasn't there, that he doesn't give. There was fouls all over the place, and I don't know.
That's one thing.
England with a better team against France.
I'll just be quick. That's one thing I'm liking about this tournament is that they've got this new whatever technology is where they're literally watching it very quickly and they're making a decision. Where
why can't VAR be that
this tournament? But go on, Lee. Luke's been dying to say something. Go on.
There's one thing I can say back to that record. The qualifying points now, if you get 4+ points in the group, you go through to the next round anyway. So we just need to get a point in the next 2 games. I think we're qualified.
Yeah, we will
for the round of 16. So that's a positive.
Yeah, of course it is.
You're talking like you're a Scottish fan, mate. We've got 3 points. We're going to win the league. What are you talking about?
We've got.
Yeah, I know.
We'll go through with 9. We're not going to lose anything. I mean, Eugene McGee is it. Here we are, voice of doom. I think England will bottle it against Denmark in the next game. That's all right. We'll take that from you, Eugene, because you normally think we'll win something and we never do. So yeah, I'll take that. He's obviously going for the reverse psychology this time, thinking we're going to lose. So maybe that will work.
That defender got
now. Eugene said we're going to lose. We'll win.
You know that tackle. Yeah. That tackle that led to the penalty. Was it? It did lead to the penalty, but that dirty challenge. Yeah, he's got a 2-game ban for that.
Has he?
Yeah, they got a 2-game ban. I can't remember the actual wording of it, but it was dangerous or unsportsmanship or something like that. It might have been dangerous.
Violent conduct.
It could have been violent conduct, yeah. But yeah, I see that he got a 2-game ban for that.
So why do you think VAR? Why do you think VAR has been so good compared to the VAR that we're experiencing in the Premier League at the moment? Where is it because there's too many cooks spoiling the broth too many people at this, looking at the game, analysing it, arguing between themselves? Just one guy.
I know this.
Go on.
I know this. It's because it's going by simpler ruling, I think. We're going just to the points of the rules and it's simpler. We like to overcomplicate it and add too many steps to it. And so analysing how the offside rule has been simplified by this technology. It's like you're offside or you're not. If it shows up on the line, it's offside, done. We don't have to mess around with lines or anything else because it's just clearly cut and done. So anything else that's really, really going for it, it's got to be really obvious, I think, in this tournament.
Which was supposed to be the whole point of it. It's supposed to be the clear and obvious, isn't it? But in the Premier League, it's not clear and obvious. Nobody even knows half the time why they pulled it back, and it's for like a fingernail and all this sort of stuff that you just can't see. What do you think about? Will they ever bring in like automated linesmen? That's the next thing, isn't it? Like get rid of linesmen and have these as bots sort of thing. Is that a possibility? I mean, we're going to be having self-driving cars in 2 years' time. Do you think there'll be the
So
linesmen will go?
What was the game? Was it Sunday? Who played Sunday where the Lino called it offside and they went to VAR and VAR overruled it and gave a goal? Who was that? I can't remember the teams. I watched it. Switzerland, yeah. Switzerland, Hungary, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Lino, and Harry called that, I don't know, because clearly he weren't up with play, because you could see he was onside. 2 players playing him onside, for crying out loud, and he's in the middle of them. So Harry called it offside, I don't know. We're all human, we will make mistakes.
Yeah,
the problem is if you start relying on machinery, we are the ones at the end of the day that created the machinery. So it's going to have its ups and downs. You're going to have someone that still needs to upgrade it, monitor it, etc., etc. It's the age-old argument. Will a computer be able to be better than a human? We don't know.
No.
Because the worry is there's going to be a massive spark somewhere and some bloody bot from the Arnie Schwarzenegger is going to come and say, "Give me your boots and your motorcycle." And they're going to be here, aren't they, from the future?
Elon Musk is taking over the world with his
Is that where we're going? Is that where we're heading to Terminator 3? Just Terminator.
It's a possibility. I'm not saying that it would definitely be in. I think a lot of work. I think we're miles away from that to start with. Probably not even in my lifetime. You need to get it spot on. That means you probably have to dig up pitches to put computer lines or systems underneath that control. Who knows? Oh, look, you're shaking your head. Go on, you clearly got an answer. Go on, mate.
Those flying drones, the drones aren't not drones, but they're like on wires, aren't they? Of these, they have like an overhead camera that zips. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're zipping along on wires and everything. They're pretty clever. So I don't know whether they could be incorporated where it'd be like above on wires running down the pitch. I don't know.
Go on, Luke.
No, I was just thinking when you're talking about computer wires and everything that's under the pitch, it'll be the clubs that have to fund putting those under there because they have to pay for the VAR improvements and everything. So that's more expense for the clubs to pay out.
It might never happen then. I mean, let's be honest, a few Premiership teams ain't short of a couple of quid, though, are they?
Well, they all seem to be very short of a couple of quid, to be honest. From what I was listening to on TalkSport, there's so many clubs that are like on the brink, and they're wanting to raise the amount of money they can lose, isn't it? Every year they want to be able to lose 150 million every year and be still within.
I can talk about this because Forest are one of the teams. This is around the PSR rule, and it's more around whether you're in a loss or a profit on the end of the accounts for the 3-year period. So of our 3-year period at Forest, we still now need to make 20 million up before the 30th of June, or we'll face a points deduction. That's just fact. It's going to be 20 million profit. So that's what it is. It's around a 3-year period of the totals of where it comes in at.
So how are you going to pull back this £20 million, Forest? Are they going to be able to do it? Is there a way to do it?
We've got to sell somebody, Lee.
Surely just sell somebody, isn't it? It's not that. And 20 million is nothing, is it? 20 million? Jesus, players are going for 250 million, aren't
they? But it's not 20 million as in the transfer fee. It's got to be 20 million profit, as in. So Murillo came for 11.6 from Corinthians. So he would have appreciated a year on his contract from how much we've been paid.
Right.
So really, if you're going to sell a player, that's going to get you money,
you've got to make 20 million profit on what he's cost you over the time, what you bought him for, what you've paid him in wages.
If you've got 20 million in, right, that means you've offset it, but you've got nothing off that deal that you can then use if that's 20 million. So it doesn't go into your transfer fund, anything goes into transfer fund, that just pays off that. And if you're selling somebody like Murillo, you're going to want a hell of a lot more than just 20 million to cover that. That's just fact. So you've got to be within a profit by the 30th of June. And if you ask me, am I concerned about this fact at this moment in time? Yes, because we don't seem to be doing a lot to address it. But
No.
that
Are you
could just
waiting
be the
for
club
City
working.
to win? Well, in fact, what's going on with Man City suing the Premier League? Is
Oh,
anybody following that? Is there any news coming out, or do we not know?
Basically, 115 charges will get away with it because there will be a brown envelope floating around somewhere. End of. The FA have not got the bollocks to points deduct Man City.
I don't think they have, and I don't think they've got the. I don't think they can afford the lawyers, to be honest, to fight them, because they've just got so much more money they can afford to. Legal costs can run so high, especially if you're getting the best, legal, solicitors in, the best barristers or whatever in the world. It's just so expensive. But City have got all the money in the world, haven't they? They can just, whatever it is, they can spend and spend and spend. I think they've got three lawyers on this case, haven't they, for this suing the Premier League. This is over the fact they want to be able to bring more overinflated sponsorship deals in and stuff, aren't they? They can pay themselves. I think what they're saying is they could get a sponsorship deal for like 20 billion, couldn't they, if they wanted to, and put that into the club's coffers, but they're not allowed to because it's overinflated on what a sponsorship deal would be. But
it all comes down to who's got the most money. I mean, whoever can afford Johnny Cochrane can get away with murder.
Oh, Leicester City are on minus points, are they? Is that true? Leicester City started on minus. Are they?
Yeah, because they knew that as soon as they came up, they'd start on a minus because they breached the year that they went down.
Oh, they breached. That's it. Yeah, they breached. What's the breach? This is what they're going on about. I think there's a lot of clubs in the Premier League very close to breaching. That was the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what does breaching mean? What was that in layman's terms? Explain what breaching is to me, because I don't understand what actually breaching means.
Basically, right? There's a total profit or a total amount of the lost fee that they've got to make up. Otherwise, they breach it. They'll breach the rule.
Oh, they're breaching the rule, right? So just say that again, Luke, so we get this in, so I can get this in my head, because I don't get it half the time.
So, in the Premier League, there's a total amount that you can lose over the 3 seasons account period,
which is about 100 million, isn't it? I think. Is it?
No, not for every team. That's where the problem starts, because our total when we went up was 66 million, because
you could lose.
Because you've got 2 years of Championship accounts and 1 year of Premier League. Then the next year you get 2 Premier League and 1 Championship.
Yeah, and then 3 years we've got 3 years of Premier.
So Leicester, when they went down, they obviously breached the amount they could lose over that 3-year period. So they got their points deduction when they came back up into the Premier League, which is this season.
Oh gosh, so how much are they? Right, so they're up against it straight. The only good thing is they'll get Blackpool did the right thing. I know a lot of Blackpool fans hate the Oysters. We all hate the Oysters, but they didn't spend any money going into the Premier League. They didn't.
Lee, just jumping in there, watching the French game, it looks like Mbappe has broke his nose.
Oh no, has he? Let's have a look.
Oh,
where?
So there was a free kick that was played in. And as soon as it was played, like went straight away. They've slowed it down. You can see his nose going. He's pissing claret everywhere.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So that potentially could. Well, I doubt it'd be his tournament over, but who knows? Boom, boom.
Well, they have to play with a face guard on them, won't he? Let's have a look.
I don't know if they're going to show the replay.
He goes right into he goes into the shoulder of the player.
Yeah. Yeah, they're making a sub now.
Yeah, so it's his own. He actually went into the player's shoulder, didn't he, himself? Ooh, that'd be nasty. And if it's broken, he's got to go on. You've got to go and have it like fixed, haven't you? You've got to go and have an operation if you're broken. It's like you've got to have it reset. It's one of those things I've never wanted to do. I had a friend who did it, and when he told me, I mean, they knock you out stuff to knock it back in, but yeah. What's this? Somebody's. Oh, okay. I've not heard anything. There's been a fans forum today at Blackpool Football Club. Fans have gone in to ask questions, and his Mountain King UK say BFC not had an overly great night with that forum. I'm sure you'll enjoy catching up on all that. Yes, I will. I will do a live stream on it tomorrow if it is that controversial, because we've got lots of problems at Blackpool at the moment. You probably heard that Simon Sadler, our owner, is facing charges over in Hong Kong for insider, well, his company insider trade. I don't really know much about insider dealing and what it all entails, but it doesn't sound good. And there's a lot of unhappy fans at Blackpool at the moment with the way the football's being played and the amount of investment in the team, and there's just lots of trouble. So. See, yeah, this is it. Now, I'll tell you a little story here. So, Mountain King has put the training ground is on indefinite hold. And I had a rant video about Blackpool when we were going down, when we weren't playing well enough to stay up and we weren't trying hard enough, in my opinion, to stay in the Championship. And one of the big issues at Blackpool is we've been wanting a training ground, and the Oystons promised a training ground for God knows how many years. And Simon Sadler's been doing this training ground, and he's basically said the training ground's costing 20 odd million to build, and this new stand that we have to have built is another 20 million. So what he was saying was, I haven't got the money to do the stand, to do the training ground, and spend money on the team. And
so what got picked?
I said in my rant that, like, the training ground isn't happening because it's not happening. And this was like, going back 18 months now, and now they're saying it's on indefinite hold. So it's definitely not happening. But I had to go in and see the club. They dragged me in. I had to go and see him and meet the blooming CEO and get my hand slapped for saying something that, they're saying, the training ground, you're saying things like the training ground isn't happening. Well, I was saying, well, it isn't happening, is it? It's not until it actually starts happening. It's not happening, is it? For me, you can keep saying it's going to happen, but that doesn't mean it's happening. So there we are.
Yeah, but they don't want you to be telling people that, Lily, do they?
No, they don't. No, they didn't like it.
They don't want you to point out the obvious. They don't like that.
So they said to me in this meeting that because they turned a blind eye to my match footage, that I had to ring the media team if I wanted to say anything controversial and check my facts before I blurted it out on YouTube. So I just said, well, I'm not putting match footage in anymore anyway. So, I'm not putting it in. So I'm not ringing the blooming media team every time. If I want to say something, I'll say it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not, what I mean? It's my opinion. If I'm wrong, that's also sometimes a good thing, isn't it? To say something controversial and be wrong, and it just creates debate. It's what it's all about, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but I don't think you'd ever claim it as fact.
Clickbait, isn't it?
There's one person on the media that's always getting things wrong and controversial, but still somehow in a fucking job. We won't go there, will we?
No, fair not. Mountain
I think
King
that would cancel me.
But yeah, you do have to, say, you do have to have your opinion, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. You're wrong, don't you? So, Gillingham FC, a broken nose is nothing. His nose is busted. It's nothing. It's nothing. He'll be back playing a content.
Yeah, you got to play in the conference now. Sign him as a centre half.
All right. I didn't. Yes, I upset the club. What are the chances of them banning you from the ground? Well, I'm sure that if I did something really controversial, they can. I mean, you've had the same trouble, haven't you, Matt, at Barnet, where you were very controversial and they wanted to ban you from the ground, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it can happen. I mean, we don't say very many. I mean, it wasn't very controversial, really. I just got the tickets price is wrong. I said they were £30 and they were actually doing a deal on £20. But the point, even if I'd have said it right, if I'd have said that, they've done this discount of 20 quid, but it's all too late. You know what I mean? No, we were going down playing terrible. It's no good doing deals when you do your deals at the start of the season, don't you, to get people in before they know how bad it is. You don't start doing deals when you're bottom of the league and it's football's terrible and nobody wants to go and nobody can be bothered going and it's just it's torture to go. It's not the time to be doing discounts to get people in. It's the time to be doing that is the start of the season where you do kids discounts and discounts on and family deals and all this sort of stuff to get as many people in as you can, committed to the season, no matter how bad it is.
I think that's probably why they've done it, though, Lee, knowing that they was having such a poor season. They just want to get as much revenue in the door and bums on seats. That's probably why they've done it.
Yeah, it's not going to work, is it? Because nobody wants to go. You can make him £1 a ticket. If it's terrible, nobody wants to bloody go. They probably just did it as a sort of a box ticket exercise that we did some discounts or something. But anyway, I'll find out. It'd be interesting to see how this fan score has gone. But anyway, we'll stay 9 minutes of injury time. So, for Mbappe. So there's 9 minutes to go. And then obviously we'll just see this game out for you. Just see it's 1-0 to France. And is there anything else?
About it at all, have we?
No, we haven't really, because we've been talking more about England. But what do you think? I mean, we've been watching it. Do you think? I mean, France have obviously been the better side. They've had a lot more chances, haven't they? But they've not looked great, have they? When they've they've had a few chances and they had a 1-on-1 that they put wide, and was that Mbappe that put it wide? It might have been.
Mbappe put it wide. Yeah, Austria had a great chance in the first half.
Yeah, they did. But France have looked.
Scoop it or chip it, whatever you want to class it, over the keeper, but he hasn't connected well enough, and obviously the keeper's managed to get a deflection for it. I think a bit like France have controlled the play, they've had a lot of it, but I think Austria, when you're playing up against a world class team, it's always going to be teams that will set up to try and be frustrating and difficult, break you on a counter attack, etc. And I think Austria's done that. They've sat with a lot of men behind the ball to try and frustrate France. As like Luke said, you only need to get 4 points to get out of the group. Right, this is probably their most difficult one. Lose 1-0, it's only a -1 goal difference. Go into the next game and see what happens from there, really. I don't think they'd be doing this hard and losing 1-0 to France.
No. Here they come. Oh! Still on the attack. We've got 5 minutes to go. It's not a bad result, is it? 1-0, but they have played quite well. Tony Tune is saying, have they stopped me from filming match footage? No, because I told them last season when I went in to see them that I didn't want to be ringing the media team to check my facts, and I wasn't going to be putting match footage in because I actually don't. I would prefer not to put match footage in, just purely because to put the highlights, to get the goals, if you're going to show the goals all the time, and if people are expecting it, then they moan if you don't get them. But to get the goals, you've got to basically be filming all the time and keep filming, deleting, and so you don't miss anything. But it just ruins the experience of going to a match for you, when you're trying to film stuff all the time. But I'd rather film the drama in the stands to kind of let. You can see the goals, can't you? You can just go on the Blackpool official and you can see the goals. But what you don't get is the feeling of what it's like in the stands, whether that's excitement or whether that's panic or whatever it is. You need to tell that story, don't you, in your videos? So I'd rather concentrate more on how I'm feeling and how obviously Jane and I were feeling at the time. And I'd rather do that than have videos that are just people are watching. And the trouble is, if people are watching just to watch the goals, they just fast forward through video.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is you don't want your vlogs, videos to be boring like doors.
Yeah, no, you don't want. I want it to be really. I want them all to be something that you can watch forevermore, rather than people. Because the trouble with match day vlogs is people, the game's on a Saturday, you put it out on a Sunday as quick as you possibly can. You you edit it as quick as you possibly can. I'm up till 5 o'clock in the morning editing it as quick as I possibly can to get it on so everybody watches it on Sunday and Monday. And then if there's a game on a Tuesday, then that's it.
Lee, just watch this chance, please, mate.
Oh, they've not missed again, have they?
But I know what you mean. Yeah, I was the same. The amount of editing that you
here today, isn't it? Gone tomorrow. That's it. Nobody will ever watch that video again because they're on to the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video. So you can't get the momentum going with your channel because people don't watch any of your old stuff. So I've got, I don't know, I think I've up to about 600 videos now, but none of them. Oh, none of them will ever get watched again. You know what I mean? People won't go back and watch them. But if I can do something that the videos are sort of watchable forever, which is why I'm going to be bringing in a former player with me into the videos this year, because obviously Jane's not going to be doing it with me. So I'm going to buy her season ticket, and I'm going to have former players interview them before the game, so we get find out a little bit about them. So there'll be a video on them, and then also you'll be watching the match with the former players and getting their opinion rather than just my boring thing. But it'll be more about, you know, just discussing the match rather than actually.
I think that is a fantastic idea, because that will definitely keep your audience more engaged than someone filming the match.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not a big fan of vloggers who will talk for a little bit and then video the whole game. Like, I want to see your face. I want to see your passion, your excitement, your anger. I want to see all of that. That's a fan. That's what I want to see. I want you telling me how the game goes. I don't want to watch the game through your video phone or whatever. That's why I never done that.
You want your opinion, don't you, on the game? I mean, there was a clip, one of my favorite clips that I ever did with Jane, and that was since we started this thing where we talked a little bit like when we were doing the watch alongs, you know what I mean? So basically we've changed it to how we did the watch alongs, but we're obviously, you know, talking to the camera in a game and then showing it after. But there was we played Wigan and we were winning 1-0, and then Wigan equalised in like I think they equalised in like the 91st minute, and then we went down and scored a winner. And we were just talking on camera, so I get, you know, I'm going like, oh, go on down that wing, and then it's like Jane's reaction when they score is unbelievable. You know what I mean? She goes absolutely mental on camera. You know what I mean? She's screaming, "Get the fuck in!" She's like this and all this, and it's just so good. It's just that raw emotion. You couldn't act it really. You know, you couldn't act it. You know, if you were trying to, you know, somebody was. If some director saw that video and said, I'm going to make a video of that episode, he couldn't get an actor to recreate that moment, because you just can't. It's just that rush of adrenaline that you get, especially with last minute goals. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do.
Has the season ticket going? Have you had much luck with?
I've raised. I wanted to raise £800. Let me put it up on the screen. If anybody's still got quite a lot so I needed to raise £800. One was for the ticket, and the other one was to just get some better mics, to be honest, because I don't like the mics that I have. They don't help me very much, because there was always a problem with Jane, because she talks dead quiet. You know, she's really quiet, and I'm quite loud. And you know, when I'm in the game, I can't monitor I've got to have a microphone. I've got to have mics that have got this 32-bit float, which I don't know if you know that, but basically it records the lowest and the highest. So no matter how high you go and how low it goes, you can either raise the low up to the right level, and you can just equal it out in post dead easy, and nothing's blown out. No matter how loud you scream, the microphones just do everything right for you. And that's perfect, isn't it? You know, because you're not worrying about whether he's talking louder than me or, you know, so I wanted these microphones. So my target was 800, but I've got 400. So I've got the money for the ticket. But I was waiting for this fans forum, because everyone's waiting for this fans forum to see whether I even want to buy a season ticket, to be honest, because I don't even feel like buying one at the moment. After I said I'd do this, I'm just so disappointed with everything that's going on. So that's it. Yeah. So I'm halfway to raise now. I've raised 400, which is great, but I need to promote it a bit more and try and get the whole 800. Then I can do it properly next season. But it doesn't matter. I can still do it on them microphones. It's not the end of the world. What's this? A crazy football vlog here. He actually asked before. Bailey was asking before. He's a Blackpool fan. He's asking me if he can come on during a live watch along. But the problem that I'm getting at the moment is because, which is the problem that I probably have now at the moment, is because the video is coming out of the camera going to the back, and the audio is coming out of the Rodecaster Pro to the back screen, and there's it's out of sync. So if I stick with this, it's all right on this because I'm only a small little box, but I'm slightly out of sync. But when I'm on the main video, I'm out of sync all the time. So what I've had to do is I've had to go out of the Rodecaster Pro into the camera, and then the camera gives the video and the audio at the same time. So I'm in sync. But when I do that, I can't have a guess because I can't hear the Rodecaster Pro. So I can't hear your audio. I can't get your audio into the stream if I do it through my camera. I can only get me. So I can't have a guest coming in with me during a live stream because I can't hear them because I've got it.
Well,
Does that make
I mean-
sense?
I mean, so you're running it this way, a different way now. So when you do your watch
Yes.
alongs for
Yes, I am.
but this way's not that bad.
I know it's not that
You've got-
bad, but
you've got-
I'm picky
you've
and
got-
it gets me on a...
Yeah, but Lee, if you've got a guest on, you're a smaller box anyway. You're a
I know
smaller
you
box.
are.
So,
Yeah, so you could get away with it, but then again, I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to do the whole show with a guest all the way through because it just adds more complications to it. Really, I find it. So I don't know if you've done watch alongs, but you're trying to watch you've got people commenting, so you're trying to like keep up with the comments, aren't you? And you're trying to watch the game, you're trying to comment on the game. You try not to miss the comments coming in. And if you've got somebody in the studio with you, it's like we've had the France game on, but we haven't talked about it at all, because you can't concentrate on, you can't have this conversation about England and watch the France game, can you? It's like,
it's tough.
you have to be a woman to be able to do that kind of multitasking. We just can't cope with that, can we, as men? We can't multitask. So I found myself, I know there's a couple of times when I've looked up and started watching France and then I've lost what like Luke's been saying about the financial. I've totally lost it because I've lost my concentration, and I needed to concentrate on.
I can send you that in a message later.
Yes, but I'm saying it is difficult, isn't it, when you're talking about things, and if if you've got a guest, you've got to kind of talk to them all the time, haven't you? You can't just sit there, Do you get what I mean? It's difficult to bring a guest into a live stream watch along. It's all right to bring you in this kind of situation because we're all talking together, aren't we? But when I'm trying to watch a match and commentate on a match, and it's just I can't see that I can do it, to be honest. I don't think my brain can compute because I'll just, he'll be talking away and I won't be listening. That's one of the reasons why Jane's leaving me, because she says I don't listen. I don't listen to her very well. I don't communicate very well. She says things and I don't hear them. So there you are. So that's my faults in life, that I don't listen. I'm not a good listener, and certainly if I'm distracted, I'm not. So that's Netherlands and France both top of the league. Right, I think we've done. Have we done anything else you want to say? We've been on 2 hours, which thank you very much, by the way, as well. And I hope you all appreciate on the stream, Luke and Matt both coming on for 2 hours of their time. I do appreciate it. I hope you've kind of enjoyed it. We're trying to get more so we don't have to all be on all the time. But there was a few said they were going to come on tonight. They've not turned up. So, they've not turned up.
Who were they? Name and shame.
Well, a few said they'll probably, a punk chef said he would, probably make it, but it was all down to his wife and his kids. Dapper said he would come on, but it was down to the missus and something else.
Oh, you were trying to get the old crew back, weren't you?
I was trying to get it. Well, it's nice to get it all back together, isn't it?
I was actually going to have a chat with you. I think it might be best to do it off air about certain members of the original, just to see what they're up to and if you're still in touch with them. But
yeah, Charlie One Rovers Vlogs was going to come on, but he's on call or something, so he said he might not be able to do it because he's on call. But we'll try and get more. But it's difficult. It's like, you get that, the lad that came on earlier, with all the problems in it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what happens when you send the link out into the web chat and just get random people adding.
Yeah, no. He is somebody that's been following me, and he said, could he come on? And I said I'd give him a link, but he hasn't got the equipment to come on. He hasn't got the equipment to come on and make it a good show. It's difficult. There's that fine line, isn't there, between, this has been perfect tonight. Luke's upscaled his, years, and he got older now. He's got a bloody beard going on there. So if he was like a young lad last time he was on, wasn't he? 16 or something. How old are you now?
I'm 22, nearly 23.
Yeah, so you're a man now. You're a young lad when you used to come on, but he's done.
You've got school in the morning.
Luke's he's done a lot of live streaming, haven't he? He used to do a lot on old Turton Talks. He was on about 18 hours a day, I think. He used to have about 18 different guests on all through the day, didn't he, one time?
That was deadline day ones, Lee. I covered.
It was just the one day you did the 18 hours. It was ridiculous.
It was the two deadline days that I just basically just did it quite rapid all the way through. But regularly, I just did about one, 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah. Yeah, you were pretty prolific. Terry Tuner says there. Yeah, remember, I have said that we can't multitask. It's the women that do that. We can't multitask. I'm not very good at multitasking anyway. I'm not really. Can you all multitask? I think it
depends what it is.
Yeah.
Depends how many screens I've got. If I have like more than one screen, then yeah. But if it's all crammed on one screen, then no. Like.
Oh, do you use 2 screens? Do you use 2 screens?
No. So
I can't do that.
My first job, I had like 3 screen setups, and that was easier. But yeah,
I have 3. I have 3 behind me, but I can only work on one. I can't do this having it on one computer, screen. So there's 3 Macs behind me, but I only use the middle one at the moment for editing and stuff. That runs on a Mac Mini in the middle. The other 2 are Macs.
Gillingham, I'm a little bit too far from where you are, but my football team, I'm not a manager, I'm just a coach. Langford, and we play in the South Spartan Midlands division. Yeah. Just put that in Google, it'll come up on the FA full time, and you'll see where we are.
So there you go. So you can't give him abuse, but he's not the manager.
We can still bring abuse if he wants.
Mountain King UK, he can't deal with less than 2 screens. I can't do it. Eugene McGivry is obviously wanting us to get off so we can go and listen to Jason Cundy on TalkSport soon. He's obviously a big TalkSport fan. He's already mentioned earlier on that I did listen to it actually this afternoon. Jim White and Simon Jordan, yeah. Jimmy, I hate to say it, but I very rarely find I disagree with Simon Jordan.
No, he's good. I like him.
He's really good, isn't he? He talks so much sense, and I know he's a bit lauded on and a bit posh and everything else, and he's a bit kind of a know-it-all, isn't he? But he is.
But he knows he's shit, though. That's the thing.
He knows he's shit, and he just talks so much sense. I just find myself agreeing with him, and I find myself disagreeing with Jim White quite a lot. I don't really see eye to him. But Simon Jordan, I'm like, God, yeah. I'd love to go for a beer with him because I just think he's just amazing. He's amazing.
To be in that little circle, eh?
Yeah. Wow. Never going to get there until you guys get me to 200 million subscribers. That's what I need. Never going to get there in my lifetime, I tell you, but it would be something else. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for tuning in. And thanks, we've actually now got 116 in the stream, so that's pretty good going, isn't it? That's you're still all here.
Ain't you got anything better to do?
Yeah. No, I hope you've all enjoyed it. Post in the comments. Did you watch this podcast Up Front with Simon Jordan? No, I haven't. I don't, but I should. I should maybe, because I do find him to be pretty spot on with most of his football observations. Anyway, he's pretty good. He had a bit of a torrid time at Palace, didn't he? They didn't like him there, did they? But he did come up against a lot. If you listen to the problems that he had, and some of the problems that he had being the Palace owner at the time was. Well, then again, Palace have done so well, haven't they, since without him? So
I think the problem with him is he very much wants to explain himself a lot, and I think he just opens himself up for question after question, attack after attack, and that's the problem. You're not going to please everyone. Most chairmen you'll never hear of or see of. Where him, he was the type of bloke that would sit down and have a conversation with you and say, well, "Look, this is how it works."
Yeah,
but unfortunately, people don't have the intelligence to understand the level that he's coming from.
Indeed. Mountain King said he had us on the main screen, and Footy and Discord on the second. So we were on the main screen. So hope you enjoyed it, Mountain King UK. And I may well do something on the fans forum tomorrow if I can get the information. I wasn't going to go to it because I just felt it was just another box ticking exercise that they do, and I thought I'm not wasting hours of my life going to it, so I didn't even apply to go. But I will have a say about it if it's something if what comes out of it is bad. I'll have to say something, won't I? It'll be remiss of me not to have a go. Get myself barred. like certain members of the crew. Right. Thanks a lot, folks. We're going to get off. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we're going to try and make these a regular again and try and build them up. But I'm kind of starting from ground zero again because we should have just carried on with them, but it just got a bit hard, didn't it? It's a lot of commitment, isn't it, Matt?
It is a massive commitment, but I think if we look at the lineup we had back then compared to what you might be able to bring in now, I think that might be a massive difference as well.
Yeah. Well, if you've got thoughts on that, people, I spoke to
don't bring in Dor.
Well, Dor can never make the first hour anyway, so most people have gone by the time Dor gets in. So. I did send him a link, but he didn't come in, so he obviously couldn't face you tonight. But I sent him a link, but he didn't come. All right, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What's that? Got a Discord?
The fuck is a Discord?
What is a Discord?
That's a conversation for not on here because it could go on forever.
I think I'm on. I'm not streaming. I'm streaming to Twitch. I don't know. Oh, Discord. Yes, and yeah, that's like. I am actually on a Discord group for something else, but I don't actually. You can set up your own Discord group, can't you?
Yeah,
it's very complicated. Luke will be able to sort me out. He'll be able to sort me out.
I don't know what Discord is. I don't know what
Discord.
Twitch is.
It's just like, well, what is it, Luke? Explain it to people for us oldies that don't.
Very
Who don't do the
briefly.
finger popping, body booty shaking, locking, or whatever that we do. Get on it, Luke.
Basically, Discord's another place that you can have people on. It's like another social media platform, but simpler in a sense. If you want one, Lee, I can build you one at some point.
That's like, as long as it's easy to cope with it.
Use.
If you get the right,
really dumbed down for some people.
If you get the right people involved and it's set up right, it's simple to use. It everything works.
I'll chat with you about it later because Luke is the computer whiz kid that I'm not. So thanks a lot, folks. We'll catch you maybe. I'm going to try and make it every Monday if I can. So I'm kind of on my own now, so I need to do something. I'm bored, so I've got more time on my hands at night, and I don't want to build this up doing a bit more than Blackpool stuff because it's just pointless if I'm being honest. It's not getting me anywhere, so I need to do other stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot. See you later. Take care, everyone. I have to press that button there.